Welcome back to another episode of... No? Okay, you're...
Yep, sorry.
I'm Lee.
And I'm Richard.
And we are exhausted.
We're also experienced business owners with over a decade of lessons behind us. We've operated businesses in many different sectors and in many different parts of the world.
A few years back, I wrote a book called Once Upon a Time in Small Business. I thought I'd told all the important stories. Turns out, I was just getting started.
This podcast is all about the messy, honest human moments behind business, life, and leadership.
We'll take you through each of the chapters of the book with more stories about the lessons we've learned through our businesses over the years.
This is Richly Told.
Imposter syndrome. We're talking about imposter syndrome today. I'm going to be driving because of the two of us, I'm the one that experiences imposter syndrome the most.
And I have lots of questions.
And you have lots of questions. So you're going to be hearing about it from the perspective of someone who sees it in action and somebody who feels it in action. And we decided that we were going to make this a two-parter because it is quite a big topic. It affects business owners, particularly high-achieving ones, a lot of them, and there is a lot to talk about. But I'm going to mix things up first of all because I wanted to read from the book at the beginning of the episode rather than the end because I feel like it's really relevant to what we're going to talk about. In the book, I wrote an article called Don't Be Afraid of Being the Least Experienced Person in the Room. And I have already referenced this article in one of our previous podcasts, although right now I can't recall which one. So you'll just have to watch all of them. Can you tell I'm really nervous? I'm having imposter syndrome right now.
You always get nervous when you got to talk about
myself.
Yep.
I think that's everybody. That's what imposter syndrome is. So let's read first. So the first couple of times I found myself faced with a group of highly experienced individuals, my inner imposter got the better of me. Who do you think you are? She'd scream. You have nothing to offer these people. Just get out of here before you make a fool of us both. And I think that is really relevant because that is exactly what imposter syndrome is. It's something inside you that's telling yourself that you don't belong and that you're not good enough and that you don't have anything to offer.
I actually want to back it up to something you said before.
Yeah.
Where you said that I see it in action. I don't. So I don't know if it's because people are very good at masking it.
Yeah.
If it's an internal thing but doesn't actually outwardly present. I don't see it in the boardrooms. I don't see it when I'm with you or with other people. So it's really actually hard for someone external, I think, to actually know or to even know that somebody might be struggling a little bit.
Do you see it in me?
No.
So you don't see it in me, only that I obviously tell you.
Yes, that's right. That's what I'm saying. So I don't. It's hard to tell. It's hard to pick. So I think for me, it can be a case that maybe somebody is struggling with this and thinking everybody thinks they're a fraud, and no one actually realizes that you could be struggling with something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Do people that experience this become very good at masking it, or
I definitely think masking it plays a role.
But what if it's not masking? Maybe the imposter syndrome that you say it isn't actually something that is really happening. It's more of some sort of mental challenge that's going on. But because if you're in the room, you're probably not an imposter anyway. Or if you're running a business, you're not an imposter, but for some reason you might feel that you are.
No, and
do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I do see what you're saying, and I do think it is a mental challenge and a mental something that stops a lot of people from actually pursuing things. But then I do think that there are a lot of people, myself included, who will go out and do it anyway.
It's just a fascinating concept to me.
It is. It's a fascinating concept to me as somebody who does struggle with it.
Because you're talking about somebody who's actually got up, gone and started a business, has employees, has a product, has customers, is in the market, but still feels like they don't belong there.
Well, that's one of the things that
is that what we're talking about here?
Reminding. How we remind ourselves that we do belong there is that, and particularly with the book. So, as a real life example, for me with the book, this book is a book of our life stories. They are my experiences in business. They are our experiences in business that I wrote about and then was processing the feelings behind what had happened by putting it on paper. When it came time to promoting the book and to getting out there and talking about it and selling it, I completely crumbled. I couldn't promote it. I couldn't tell people to buy it. 10 years later, I'm still struggling to use it as a tool to help other business owners because I still go, what have I got to share with people?
So is this kind of like an extreme case of, yes, I understand people are uncomfortable putting themselves out there sometimes. Like people struggle sometimes with doing presentations or things of that nature. Is this kind of an extreme version of what this is?
I think it could be. And
so is it a self-confidence thing?
I think it's definitely related to self-confidence. I mean, I wrote the book. We've lived the businesses. We've built the businesses, multiple businesses. We've started, built, run. In my case, because we were doing it together, there was never anything that I could assign to myself. Lee did this. Lee started that business. Lee grew that business. Lee wrote that program. I was always the support person, the backup person. And it wasn't until we kind of went through and went, well, when we started this business, we did look at certain things. You were responsible for this, and that aspect of it, which means that the business wouldn't have been successful without it. So when we actually sat down and went through it, there was a lot of things like that we could pinpoint. But there was because for me, I'd never actually done it on my own. I had it in my mind that I hadn't done it. More recently, the thing that really highlighted it for me was that I went back to uni and did a Masters of Business Administration.
Which you killed.
Which I did. I got honours in. I got some really amazing offers out of that in terms of helping to tutor and also job offers. I still didn't feel good enough at that point. We've employed people. We've done it. You know, we've pretty much covered most aspects of business except for large scale, multinational, right? And then to have the MBA on top of that and still be going, what have I got to tell people about? What have I got to show people? Made me realize that this is very serious. It is a very serious mental challenge.
Well, I've been looking forward to this episode because you've mentioned it over the years, and I've been looking forward to this to talk to you about it because I have a hard time kind of understanding what it is that you're talking about because your credibility, I mean, it's on the wall right there.
Yeah.
You know, it's in your achievements. It's in a lot of things. I struggle to kind of understand why somebody might feel that way. Even if somebody's going to start a business, they have no qualifications, they built it from nothing. I mean, we've had clients that have said, oh, we built this from a mop and a bucket and $50.
Yeah.
They don't have any qualifications.
And I'm the first person that will say that is your qualification.
But there's one person that you know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Ended up with 350 staff.
Yep.
Why do people still feel like at that level they could still be an imposter? Like what makes them feel that way? Because he doesn't outwardly present. It's obviously an internal thing. And I'm wondering also too, is it something that leaders and business owners feel, or could employees be feeling it too? Like if you put an employee into a chief position or even night manager or somewhere, do you think they feel it?
You know, absolutely I do. I do actually think that. I recently had lunch with someone who I met in the industry that we work in. She was an amazing person. I met her because I went to a networking event. Someone introduced us. She was looking to put together a support network, I guess, of women in the industry and put the call out. And I said, hey, let's go grab lunch. It ended up just being the two of us on that day. Now, she looked at my LinkedIn before we sat down for lunch. And then one of the first things she said to me, and her position is quite high within a medium to large local business, so significant. The first thing she said to me was, I don't have any fancy degrees or anything. And I just went, wow, like I was kind of stunned. I don't know why I was stunned, because I understand the feeling. I understand the feeling of not feeling that you are good enough to be sitting opposite the person that you are talking to. And then we ended up having the most amazing conversation about how the fact that even though I do have the fancy degrees, I still feel like I need to apologize for being there.
It's interesting. I'm sitting here listening to this, and the first thing that kind of popped into my head is I'm wondering if this is a symptom of Australian culture, almost tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've worked with people and in countries all like in lots of parts of the world, and Australia does have this unique kind of tall poppy Aussie battler. What's the word I'm looking for? Self-deprecation.
Self-deprecation.
Yeah,
Cutting people down.
Cutting themselves down. It's not even the case of cutting other people down. Yes, we do that here as well.
We do have a culture of self-deprecating humor
in Australia. We do. I don't see anywhere else.
And I do actually think that can impact negatively if you're always making jokes about yourself or talking negatively about yourself, even for fun.
See, why do people even do that? Is that because they think someone else is going to have a go at them, so they'll just get there first and make a joke out of it? Like, why do people even do that? And I actually don't see it anywhere else. Anywhere in the world, I don't see it. Doesn't matter where I am, if I'm in the Central America, UAE, UK, I don't see it anywhere else. But now that you're talking about it, I definitely have seen it here.
Yeah.
So is all of that evolving into, for some people, imposter syndrome? Is that what we're talking about? Because I'm very curious about.
I'm really curious too. I actually think that this is we should probably consider actually getting on some experts to have a chat to.
Well, it's kind of going into another area now.
It's going into another area.
Now I'm starting to wonder if, in this country, we don't do enough to support each other and encourage each other.
I don't necessarily think we do. I think, this is a really hard one.
This episode's going a little bit this way now, hasn't it?
It's gone in a completely different direction to what I was thinking.
But I think it's all part of the same problem, maybe?
Look, I really do think there's a number of issues here, and that is that there is a lot of perceived support out there. So, and by that I mean there are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of coaches, there are a lot of programs, there are a lot of courses. Do this with me and I will help you. There's a huge amount of that in small business in Australia. I think that's really damaging. Someone's always trying to sell you something. Someone's always trying to sell you something based on your pain or based on your
problems, issues,
or your lack of experience.
All that kind of stuff. Yep.
So we're always being told, I guess, that there's something wrong in business or that there's something we need to fix.
Do you think that it's fair to say generally in this country, people are almost embarrassed of success?
I think so.
I think people hide success in this country.
I absolutely think so. I think personally, do I feel worthy of having success? I don't know. And that's something that I will openly say that I had an appointment yesterday with a psychologist, and we were discussing some of these things, which I was hoping to bring to this podcast, but I think it's a deeper conversation and a conversation for another time, and potentially with her even here maybe. But I do think that people don't feel worthy of success. I don't think they're afraid of it, but I don't think that they feel worthy of it. And I think that
we don't celebrate it. We don't really
celebrate it.
I remember, and sorry to interrupt, but I remember going to many years ago, a thing with Brad Sugars, who's
a business coach.
A
known business
Australian coach.
Yeah.
And one of the things he said during his presentation was that in Australia, he said basically, if you can make business work in Australia, you can make it work anywhere in the world. The world's your oyster. And he said, in Australia, if I was seen driving down the street in my Rolls Royce or in my Ferrari or whatever, in this country, people give me the middle finger and say, rich bastard, rich prick.
Yeah.
He said, in America, when I drive those cars, people at the lights go, good job, mate. Yeah. Well done. You must have worked hard for that.
I have to say,
that culture in Australia.
The culture in America, like having experienced the US culture and Australia.
So it's not just the US culture, it's every other country but this one.
Speaking from my own experience, is you've had more experience around the world than I have. But speaking from my own experience, there is a vast difference between. I mean, I think imposter syndrome is still a worldwide.
But that's what I've.
But I think in Australia, it is. Maybe it's not imposter syndrome that I'm even referencing. Maybe it is just our culture of.
I'm just wondering if it is our culture, if it is this imposter syndrome, is this feeling that I shouldn't have what I have almost. I mean, I don't know. That's why, I mean, as you know, I don't pick up on these cues.
Yeah.
I'm on the spectrum. I guess it's a blessing sometimes it's a curse, but in this scenario, I don't pick up on these things. In fact, I wouldn't even have occurred to me, or I would never have noticed unless you had raised it a few times. And that's why, for me, I'm sitting here struggling to understand what this actually is.
I don't pick up on it either, even though I experience it in myself. Using our weekly networking meeting as an example, there's 42 odd people in that room every week.
Yeah.
Between 42 and 45 people in that room every week. I could not tell you of a single person in that room who I thought felt like they shouldn't be there or didn't feel confident. They all appear overly confident. But yeah, I bet you if you walked into that room and asked each one of them if they felt like they should be there, if they felt worthy of success, or if they felt insecure, they'd probably all say that they did.
Well, I was just about to ask you, is it everyone wants to be successful?
Yeah.
In our culture, people are afraid of success because what else it can bring? Like unwanted attention, maybe.
I don't know.
Or people asking for things, coming to you with a handout, asking for things. Or, the tax department swooping in and taking half.
None of that factors into my mind.
Okay.
Do you know what comes into my mind? Every time I pick this book up to read it or to give it to somebody, I almost apologize for it.
Well, I've actually seen people read that and say it's a great book, and you seem genuinely surprised by it.
I've had messages sent to me thanking me for writing the book and telling me that it's helped.
And you're surprised by that every single time.
And I am surprised by that every single time.
So there's that imposter syndrome that you're surprised by that.
Yeah, because I don't feel as though I have any right to tell people how to live. I'm not telling people.
But you're not. You're just sharing our stories.
And that's the thing. I'm just sharing our stories. So,
which is basically
I had all these rules in place about what I wanted to do and the fact that I wasn't a coach. And I do want to jump back a little bit and say, not every coach. I'm not talking about every coach that's out there offering services. What I'm saying is it's very muddy. There are a lot of people offering coaching who shouldn't be, and offering courses and, selling a lifestyle. If you're out there selling a lifestyle, what is that? I don't understand that.
I find there's a lot of regurgitation.
Yeah.
In that area.
Yeah.
But wow, this episode did go. This is a much bigger.
I told you it was a much bigger topic.
It's a much bigger topic. So
should we leave it there?
Well, I just got one question.
Yeah.
Do you think this affects productivity in the workforce?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it affects my productivity because I think that if I allow it, it can stop me from being able to do things. What's the word I want to use? Help me out. What's the word? Paralyze. It can paralyze me.
Okay, great word.
So if I allow myself to get too caught up, I'll get paralyzed. Like, I will get to that 42-person meeting and if I don't force myself to get out of the car and force myself to walk in there and force myself to stand up and talk, I'll just not do it.
So do you think there could be business owners out there that have employees that are feeling this, are not operating at their full potential, and they're unaware of it?
I do.
Or if you get a promotion over somebody else and you feel that other person was more worthy of you, why do I get promotion? Do you think that
I do think there's definitely a culture of it. It's not just business owners that it affects.
So all this is just sitting on the surface?
I think so.
Bigger problem.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, I think...
Shall we leave it there and then pick it up in the next...
Yeah, I mean, I think so, but I think that too. I think everyone probably needs to have a think about this and what they think. I mean, look at themselves, look at their employees. Do we even know? Well, like I said, until you raised this topic, I've never noticed it before, but now that I think about it, there are definitely behaviours that I have seen that either are a symptom of this or lead into this.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll just leave
Yeah.
it.
Well, let's leave it there. Another conversation that's gone awry.
Yeah, great, aren't they? Yeah.
Thing now.
Yeah. I don't even bother writing anymore.
Well, we never had a script. I have got notes I did not refer to. So, but
Sorry.
so next episode, let's talk about some of the strategies that I use to.
I think that's great, but I also did think, how to identify this?
Okay, so let's go with.
There's identification, there may be strategies. Because
How do we identify it?
how do we see it in our employees, even ourselves?
How do we identify? Well, I can definitely talk on that because I have identified it in myself. So, how do we identify it, and then some strategies that we can use to survive
Yeah.
and head sleep till.
I think that's a great idea.
Well, thanks for joining us on this roller coaster of a conversation.
Yes.
We will see you next week. This has been Richly Told.